You've definitely noticed this when you've been in social interactions, you've been in society, you've noticed that athletes tend to get the respect and admiration from damn near everybody without even having to try. Like they don't overspeak, they don't overdo anything, just their aura, just them, their presence being there just gets people so curious about themselves. They always ask them, typically they ask them, well, oh, are you an athlete? Do you play any sports? If you've ever gotten this, you have the athlete effect. Because for me, I can tell you, I've always gone everywhere and people just assume that I'm an athlete and they assume that I have the discipline. They almost look up to you because you have this aura of I'm in control of my life. I have this obsessive goal that I'm going after. That's what people admire about the athlete the most. And women chase them like crazy. Women chase athletes like no other. More than any other archetype that I could think of, athletes are the most chased by women completely. And a lot of the times they don't even have to put much effort, like at all. And again, it's not because of fame. It's not because of any of these things like professional athletes. You could say, well, they're rich, they're famous and everything, of course. But there are people, including myself, that don't really have the fame, that don't have the riches, the millions of dollars, that still get the same treatment that a professional athlete would going into a specific social setting. Now, the good news about all of this, right? Let's get out of the doomer mindset. There's no doomer mindset here. You don't need to go pro to have that same effect. I'm a clear representation of this, right? And you can be as well. But you need to replicate the athlete aura. You have to get that athlete effect in your own life, in your own way. And I'm going to show you how to do that. Right? So you have to understand that the athlete effect is very, very, very simple. Typically, athletes are respected by men and they're desired by women simply because they broadcast certain signals that the world cannot ignore. They just cannot. And there are three main signals that they show. I'm going to break that down for you. The first is physical dominance, right? They're strong, they're lean, they're explosive. They have the V taper that everybody admires. It's literally biologically admired by women. These show like health and testosterone cues. It shows fertility. It shows that you're virile. It shows that you have a zest for life, right? Vitality. They have this type of energy to them. They have this type of signal that they broadcast. And this is mostly because they train extremely hard. They take their health seriously. They make sure that whatever it is that they eat, they treat their bodies almost like it's like a Lamborghini or a Ferrari, or I don't know what your dream car is, a Pagani, whatever it is, right? They treat their body as such, which means everything that they consume is fuel to their body. And this is what you as a man, you need to do. You need to start taking your health seriously, start to have the discipline, and start to really treat your body like it is a luxury vehicle, like it's a fucking supercar, because it is, right? Now, the average man does not do this. They don't take their body very seriously. They consume bullshit, and it's almost like they're eating to fuel a Honda. Regular gas, right? Not premium gas. You're not taking the premium. You're taking the regular gas, and it shows, right? You're sloppy. You don't look like you're put together very well. You need to overemphasize the branding on your clothing. I'm telling you this right now. Yes, there are professional athletes that wear designer shit, but the designer doesn't make them. Their body makes them. Their aura makes them. They amplify the designer clothes. They start the trends, which is why you see a lot of other people wearing that type of stuff. They start that trend. They could go to Target and wear some regular clothes. I've done this. I went to Target, bought regular black shirts. I bought Wrangler jeans. I bought the most basic shit, like probably wore some Vans. I remember when I was in college, all I wore was Vans. But the aura, the physique, the way that I'm structured, all of that amplified what it was that I was wearing to where it seemed like it was expensive, but it wasn't. I wear basic Zara shit. And people ask me, bro, where did you find that shirt? Where did you find those jeans? Where did you find those shoes? Like my shoes are very basic. They're leather shoes. I find them here in Romania for super cheap because I'm in Europe. Leather shit is cheap here, which is good. It's very high quality, but it's nothing crazy. You know what I mean? The next is status and social proof. That's another signal that they show through being a part of a tribe, through being admired, through being, celebrated. And this comes from being a part of a team. This comes from actually competing, right? This comes from actually having camaraderie. And you can replicate the same thing in your life as someone who's not a professional athlete. You can surround yourself with men who are striving to be great, with ambitious men who give you that energy, that vitality, that life force. You can generate this through your actions, through what it is that you do when you go out to places. Like, how do you present yourself, right? How do you treat yourself internally? How do you see your self-image? An athlete sees a very strong self-image when they look internally because they've built it through discipline. They're congruent. They're congruent with the goals that they're chasing and the practice that they're putting in. You can replicate this the same way, whatever your goals are, whether it's business. I think business is a really, really good sport of life that I think every man should play because it does. I know a lot of men are looking for self-improvement. Self-improvement happens the most in business because your business is a direct reflection of you. It's a direct reflection of the habits that you have, the mindset that you have, the health that you have to be able to endure the long hours of actually putting in work. Business is the greatest vehicle of self-improvement. It's the greatest sport to play if you're not in professional sports. And one of the greatest things you can do is surround yourself with people who are ambitious, because that level of status and that level of social proof, rising up that mini hierarchy of your group, of the network that you're in, is what's going to completely transform your aura. But now that we go into aura, the last part is that athlete effect gives you the aura under pressure, because you're constantly under pressure. See, a lot of men, they have dead auras. They have very, very dead presence because they have zero obsession, right? There's nothing that they're obsessed about. There's nothing that they're trying to build. They feel almost lost, right? Maybe that's you right now. You feel a little lost. Find one goal, find one specific niche, find one specific thing, get super obsessed with that thing. If you're super obsessed with health, bro, dive deep into that. Learn everything that you can. This is my first obsession. Well, no, not my first, but it was my first big obsession that I was able to monetize, is health, is fitness, right? I got super deep into like, okay, what were the best reps and sets for this specific thing? Now I realize that shit doesn't really matter. It's all about the work that you put in. You got to put in the work. You can't obsess over the reps and the sets and all that shit, right? But find something that you can obsess over. Understand better, understand sleep better, understand hormones, understand testosterone, DHT, androgens, understand how that shit works. Like, obsess over a topic if you don't have anything, right? Obsess over a business, build a marketing agency, build a product, build a service, build some sort of, maybe even a brand. Like, obsess over something, because what's going to happen is you're going to be so focused on that all of the minute shit that goes on is not going to faze you. When you're obsessed over a bigger goal, you're way calmer under like the regular shit that civilians, that people, average people in life stress over. Like, I see someone stressed over not taking the trash out, or they get stressed over like some shit that's misarranged in a room. And I'm like, bro, you are not aiming big enough. You don't have bigger problems that you're trying to attack and solve. Because if you did, none of this shit would matter. You going into a social setting wouldn't matter. You know, it's funny. I go into social settings and I don't even think about what other people think, because I'm so focused on my mission, my obsession, my purpose, that when I go into social settings, I just don't see it. I don't see the micro expressions of other people sometimes. Sometimes I'm just in my own world and people just want to join that world because they're like, shit, he's not negatively affected by me, by my fucked up mindset and my fucked up internal beliefs and internal self-image of myself. Like, a lot of that stuff doesn't exist. You know what I mean? And so you become very, very calm. You become extremely confident because you know that you're going against something that's a lot bigger. You have a mission. You have something that you're accomplishing, and you're taking the daily discipline to do that shit every day, which, by the way, confidence comes from competency. Athletes are extremely confident because they're competent in their sport. You have to be competent in the obsession that you have. You have to be competent in the craft that you have for yourself. All of you have a unique craft that you're looking to develop and be better in. You have to start to take the daily actions and get the feedback loops and get in the arena to start becoming competent and confident. Like, you see athletes, even if they lose a game, the fact that they were in the game, which separates them from 99% of the people who are watching them, gives them the confidence, because when they go into real life, they're like, bro, I've actually stepped in the arena. I've actually done the work. And that's what you need to do as a man. If you want to replicate that athlete effect, you have to get in the arena of life. There are literally 4 specific arenas that you can enter. There's the physical arena, which is training your body, eating healthy, eating the right way, recovering properly, right? There's the financial arena where it's business, where it's managing your finances. You know how confident you could be if you were able to be financially literate to the point where you had stocks, you had crypto, you had money in the bank, you had all these things because you were able to manage your money. It doesn't matter how much money you're making right now. You could be making $2,000 a month. Figure out, okay, I need to put 20% of this away and then pay if you can't do that, if your bills are way too crazy, find a way to minimize those bills, reduce all of the shit that you don't need, right? Live your life to where you can put away 20% of your income for anything and invest it into other shit. That gives you so much confidence, bro. When you walk into a room and you know that you're financially okay, and if you need to, go take on another job or build a business online. Start a personal brand, sell a transformation that you've made, right? Do something, sell a digital product, learn how to do it, fail at it, but that still gives you confidence because you're doing something. You're actively moving, you're actively creating more income, you're actively just putting income away for specific things, right? Then there's a social arena where you're going out and you're talking to people, you're getting reps in, talking to women. You're understanding who women are. You're understanding different approaches that work. You're having, even if you get rejected, it doesn't matter because there's another woman out there, right, to go talk to. There's millions, bro. Don't have that scarcity mindset. Don't have that one-itis. It's bullshit, right? Go out there in the social arena. Go build networks for yourself. Go meet with other men and talk with them. Have coffee with them. Meet them on social media. Find men who look like they're reputable. And start to meet them on social media. Go to coffee with them in your local area or get on a Zoom call with them and start to build your network, right? This is all going to be you being in that social arena. You're now a player. You're becoming a pro in those different types of arenas, right? And that's the thing. You become very, very composed when the heat's on because you're constantly feeling pressure. You're constantly at heat. You're constantly playing. And that's the combination that makes athletes extremely magnetic. It makes them extremely respected. Men follow them, women fantasize about them. It's biology, psychology, and lifestyle all at once, right? That's what you need to develop as a man. Now, you can replicate this like I was saying. You have to live your life like an athlete, right? Even when it comes to mentally jacked. I forgot to mention that as well, mentally jacked. It's all about being in the mental arena where it's discipline, it's focus, it's rituals, it's having the same routines on a regular basis and switching them up based on your goals. Very, very important stuff. Treat your body like it's a weapon. Treat your body like it's a supercar, right? Build that presence, build that aura, build that attraction. And here's the crazy part. I'll tell you something that athletes have that are very, very interesting. They have this like gaze. They have this predator-like gaze because they're so used to focusing on one thing. You can see a basketball player. He's so used to shooting 1,000. I used to shoot 1,000 shots a day with the shooting gun, right? You get that stare, you get that gaze where like you can focus and you can be present in the moment. And that translates to like the social setting. When you talk to somebody, you're fully focused. Your eyes aren't darting around like prey. Your eyes are straight locked in as a predator, right? Not as a negative predator, but as somebody who you know what it is that you want and you can be there. And you have respect for yourself to believe that you deserve to be where you are, talking to that person, talking to that woman, talking to that man that you respect. All of this stuff matters. This has happened to me when I've walked into rooms with guys who I consciously know have millions of dollars. I treat them like regular human beings. And I give them the eye contact. I give them the presence. I'll never forget, like recently, I was at this party, this Romanian birthday party, and there was a dude that came up to me, and he was in the special forces, right? He was a sniper, and you could tell, like, he was giving me this eye contact. I remember my wife was right next to me, and she was like, he was giving you this like eye contact, but you and him were locked eyes. Like you didn't break eye contact, he didn't break eye contact, but it was a friendly conversation. And you could tell the level of respect because I wasn't fucking prey. I wasn't darting my eyes like, oh shit, I can't make, he's making too much eye contact. No, I'm also a predator. I treat myself as such. My self-image is as such. My discipline shows. Everything that I've done has made me competent enough to step in with a man who is highly accomplished. Special Forces, has done work, has done crazy amounts of work. CIA type shit. But again, it's all about how you present yourself. And when you train everything, which is my entire motto, to be multidimensionally jacked, you start to broadcast the same signals that athletes do. That's when you get the respect from men. That's when you get the desire from women, right? So my system is as such because I want to explain what my system is, how I work with people. And by the way, if that's something you're interested in, if you want to take this to the next level and develop that athlete effect, become multidimensionally jacked and train everything to where you become a pro in your life, right? Because that's my whole philosophy in life, is become a pro at everything that you do. I'm going to explain the system for you, which, by the way, after this, you can go, link in the description, reach out to me, go through the site, go through everything and look through what it is that I do. Look through the testimonials that I have if you think I'm bullshitting. Look through and decide if it's for you, because this could genuinely change the trajectory of your life and how you present yourself and how your body feels and how your mind feels and how you dominate business, how you dominate social settings. This is what I train my mentees to do. I'm basically like their Tim Grover, which is dope as fuck. That's a great positioning. I know. But the way my system works is identity shifting, which is phase one, figuring out what your future identity is, what your current identity is, what is the gap, and how do we fill that gap, right? Your multidimensional identity to be this man who dominates all areas of life. Then we embody that identity daily through daily rituals that you do, discipline, routines, right? Figuring out exactly what you need to do to hit those goals and maximize your area in all of those spaces. And then it's feedback loops, going into the real world and testing this shit out. Going to the gym and testing out your strength, right? Going out and meeting women if you're single and talking to women and testing out the charisma that you're building, right? Talking to people at the grocery store and shit like that and seeing how well you are at starting conversations. Right? Going out, starting a business, growing that business, going through the failures, getting the feedback loops, getting on sales calls for that business and seeing how you fucked up and how you can improve. It's all feedback loops. This is like actual live training. And you get one-on-one access to me, of course, right? You get one-on-one access to me, literally 24/7 on WhatsApp. I message my clients all day. I'm literally glued to my phone sometimes because I'm talking to them about their different thoughts that they have and basically course correcting them, mentoring them, etc. I give you specific things to do on a regular daily basis, right? We get on one-on-one like calls, like me and you, we talk, we go over the things that have worked, the things that haven't worked, what we need to improve, any other questions you have around life, etc., right? But that's pretty much the framework. And it starts burning your old self, scripting that new multidimensional athlete identity that you want to be able to have. Right, having that masculine ritual, that rite of passage, which I believe all men need to have. If you go into any program, there should be a rite of passage. My rite of passage is always burning your old self, literally, with a piece of paper, right? And documenting that and sending it over to me. Living it daily, training, rituals, drills, aura drills, all of that, right? And documenting it and seeing how you improve with those over time and like quantifiably measuring that and refining through feedback, right? So constant evolution, just like a pro athlete would. Right? Reviewing game film and shit like that. You're basically reviewing yourself. We're reviewing how you did for the week. We're reviewing the results that you were able to get through the actions that I had you take. And that's the thing. Athletes don't train their body. They train their entire life. If you want respect and desire, you have to train everything to develop that athlete effect. That's how it works. So again, if you're done being invisible, if you want the respect of men, if you want the desire of women, and you want to respect yourself, and you want to be the best version of yourself that you possibly can, and stop living like an average guy, and start living like an athlete, and start training everything, that's the path to becoming multidimensionally jacked. Again, that's the thing. I'm breaking down how you can replicate the athlete effect in my email list that I have. If you have ever bought a product from me, I have all these different products that essentially allow for you to develop in different areas of your life. Physically jacked, mentally jacked, socially jacked, financially jacked as well. I have all of those products linked in the description, depending on what path you want to take. You will be getting emails from me on all of this, right? I do this with all the guys who get into my free mindset training that I have, which I will be building a full guide for free on how to build that athlete effect, which will be dropping soon. So you might as well be on my email list to be able to receive that. You can join my free Telegram as well if you want a little bit more access and a little bit more dynamic talk from me. But again, if you want to take this deeper, links will be in the description. Tap in with me. I want to work with guys who are serious, guys who want to be elite. I work with CEOs. I work with guys who run businesses. I'm basically like their Tim Grover. They're like personal, like performance advisor, if you want to call it that. Is dope as fuck. Like, I love this shit. Like, this is literally what I've wanted to do. You guys have seen me. I went from the gold pill, golden signal, but this athlete effect is what embodies me the most. And you can tell by just how I talk about it. I'm very, very passionate about it. I study Michael Jordan. I study Kobe Bryant. I study Mike Tyson. I study all these guys. I study their mind. I study how they comport themselves in interviews, how they dress, how they move, how they see themselves. And I know that average men can replicate this to become great in whatever area of life it is that they have. So again, if that's you, links will be in the description. I appreciate you. I hope this video is valuable. I'm gonna catch you on the next one. Let's keep this shit going.